Hey, my name is Justin Miller, and today we're going to talk about vetting a location, a potential location to place a hotspot. But before we do, I just want to say, do you want to see more content like this live? If you do, please put it in the comments. If you may notice, I generally don't take a break. I don't take a lot of cuts in my videos. I see so many videos on YouTube where people cut, because they're not sure what they're saying. They're always messing it up. And certainly I do that too. However, my day job is basically going in front of the camera like this and doing live streaming videos or webinar productions. And so I have to sit there and talk to people like this all the time. So I can do it as a live video for you guys and answer questions for you. If you are interested, please let me know in the comments. Okay, before we move forward talking about vetting some specific locations, I just also want to mention how things are going in helium mining today. So first of all, H&T still hovering around 50. I do like seeing that. Makes me feel a little safe with H&T. However, also remember that what's going on right now is HIP 39 renomination. People are looking at basically taking H&T and changing it so there's, instead of one H&T, in replacement of that one H&T, it's 1,000 H&T. You can read about it more here. This is being voted on right now. As you can see right now, it says there's 4 days, 12 hours, and 57 minutes to cast your vote. Total votes right now are 5,229. And most people, looks like, are 54% against it, which is surprising to me because when I checked this yesterday, a lot of people were for it. I had a little conversation with some people about doing this to cryptocurrency. An interesting point is if there's more H&T out there, the price is not going to fluctuate as much. It's going to stay fairly even. I don't know if you consider that a good or bad thing. Another issue for me is if they do this, how are they going to be sure that, like, the 130 H&T I currently have, or however much H&T I currently have, is going to then be changed to, add 3 zeros at the end of that. I don't know. I'm very curious how they're planning on making this happen. Should people be for the redenomination? But please check this out. Check out HIP 39, and if you have a vote, please do vote. Your opinion does matter, and I think it's great that we have systems like this where we can vote. Now, that being said, as I just mentioned, the value of H&T is doing well, but the Helium network hasn't in the last week. I'm sure many of you have seen the current amount of H&T that you're making go down, hopefully just a little bit, but maybe more. I definitely recommend that any of you who do have hotspots are on Discord. And here we are on Discord right now. You can see, for example, that they tried to roll out POC version 11. Did not work out. There were issues. They've since rolled it back. They are planning on, or they actually have, and you can just check to see your own firmware. They've released 2021.11.10.0 for your firmware. You should make sure your system is on it. They fixed some critical bugs there, but they decided that they weren't going to activate POC version 11 over the weekend because there could be more problems. Instead, they're going to activate it on Monday and Tuesday and see what happens. Since they've done this rollback and fixed some of these bugs, I personally have noticed things have gotten a little better, but I'm excited to see what happens when proof of coverage version 11 is released. I do want it to be released, so we'll see. Also, it looks like they've done some updating to discovery mode. I have not played around with discovery mode recently, but for those of you who are researching areas, discovery mode actually is pretty nice. I like taking my hotspot on the road, even when it's relayed, and doing a test somewhere else to see what kind of beaconing and witnessing I can get at a location. So that is definitely useful. So as I mentioned, things are not as great as they were before. I used to see a 24 hours. I'd get up to almost 4 HNT. Now it's hovering below 2.5 for me, but it was getting worse and worse. This is around the time, it was around the November 2nd, things started going bad. And as you can see, mine continued to drop. Once it dropped below 4.5, I started to worry. And then it went to 4.22, and then 2.03, and then 1.98, then back up to 2.28. So I'm hoping today is a good day and things have stabilized in my favor, but who knows? If you want to look at some of the hotspots that I have and how they've been doing, and I'm just showing you over the course of 30 days, but here's my main one in my house, which is in my attic. This is a 9 dBi directional antenna, so a little over 32 HNT a month. Here is one that is in one of my family members' attics, 8 dBi omnidirectional in a ranch house in their attic, and it's getting over 20 in a 30-day period. Now, the rest of these were only recently just installed, so it's a little shy of 30 days here. But this one is hooked up onto it's an 8 dBi antenna hooked up on a chimney. It's got a chimney wrap around it and just sitting right on top of the chimney. Hopefully, and this is a hard point right here because you can see I was getting nothing on this day. But my hope is by the time I reach 1 month to the 17th, so let's just say this let's see, it's the 13th now. So in a couple more days, 4 more days, I'm hoping that earnings will be at 15. I like seeing 15. That's the number I'm going for this house at least. Now this other house, we also put it on the roof. I have not gotten great numbers out of this house, but I will find out around the 20th how well it's doing. It looks like it's going to get over 10, so that makes me happy. That's what I'm going for there. And then this hotspot I just installed downtown. I don't expect it to do well. I'm getting 0.1 HNT, and that's part of the reason why they were doing the redenomination, because they didn't want people to keep seeing things like 0.1 HNT. People seem happier when they have 1 HNT or 10 HNT. So by changing that redenomination to 1,000 HNT from 1 HNT, then instead of getting, like on this day, 0.05, I'd get 50, right? That would make me happy. So that's their argument. Again, if you want that to happen, I would vote for HIP 39 and make that happen. Okay, enough with what's out there. Let's take a look at what I can get. So I recently have been putting the feelers out there, trying to get more people who are interested in having my hotspots hosted at their house. And I am not good at talking to people and making this happen. I'll be straight up. You need a good salesperson for that. And luckily, my wife is a great salesperson, and she has been working to do this for me. Now, that said, she said, I wrapped them up 95%. The rest is yours. You still got to close the deal. I am not trying to scare people away. I'm offering basically the cost of their internet. And that being said, I also created a very simple document, a simple hosting agreement between them and me that basically says, this is you, this is me, this is where the hotspot is going to be, and you're going to let me set it up here, and you're going to let me connect to your power, your internet, and open the TCP port 44158. And then just to verify, I'm paying you on a month-to-month basis. And if the agreement ends, you give me my equipment back and the proration of that month. So, yeah, very simple. Didn't want to get into a lot of heavy detail because people get scared when they have some paperwork just between two regular people with a lot of small fine print, and I didn't want to be like that. So yeah, that's my agreement. Now that said, these are the locations of the two houses for this person. You can see it right there at the top in the red, and then down here at the bottom. I like looking at houses on Google Maps. I think it's a good way of going in and looking at the details of these houses. So that's one thing you may want to consider. I also like to look at what hex we're in. So the first house that a little lower is in this hex right here. And then the other one looks like at least 600 meters north. Yay. 600 meters is always good since each of these hexes are about 600 meters wide, or exactly 600 meters wide. Right up here, that's where the other house is. So that looks positive to me. One of the bigger positives are, as you can see, I'm looking at it in terms of transmit scale. And this is a really green area. I like that it is a green area. So that's also positive. There's a lot of places that it can hit, or at least visually like this, it can. But we don't know that for a fact until we look at it in something like Hotspot. So here in Hotspot, by the way, I'm looking at how well I'm doing, and as you can see, I was complaining here about the levels, but let's just go right into locations. And here under locations, let's take a look at the two houses. So the two houses are on West 107th Place and in North Grove Loop. So we'll jump over there. And again, for those people who are not used to Hotspot, when you look at these, you're going to go into appearance settings and you're going to make sure you can see the elevation contours. Elevation contours are very important. Now, I'll be honest, I turned off the transmit scale on one of the two on Ewell Street, and I'll show you in a second. So, first of all, we're looking at 107th here, and the one that was more south is on Ewell Street. And here, I'll just show you straight up why I turned it off. Because there's a hotspot across the street. Somebody already installed one. That is, you just click on it and take a look at it and decide what it means. But that is docile goldenrod toad. Now, generally speaking, I wouldn't install next to somebody else's install unless they're doing very poorly. But let's take a look at how well they're doing. So I'm just going to go and jump over here, and we'll replace this information. Let's see, there it is, docile goldenrod toad. And docile goldenrod toad looks like just got up and running. I mean, over a 30-day period, I'm only seeing 2 days. Over a 24-hour period, okay. I'm a little confused. Seems like they just opened this up and then turned it off again. Maybe they're goofing around, testing it here. So that being the case, maybe not such a big deal. So the reason I turned it off, the transmit scale, I'm going to turn it back on again, is because if I put it here, the transmit scale, it says, is going to bring everything down. That's right. Now I'm looking at, turned on the wrong one. Turned on the wrong one. We're looking at North Grove Loop. So I'm going to enable transmit scale of North Grove Loop. Now clicking on North Grove Loop and see what happens. Yes. It brings them both down to something like 0.5 or 0.48, and I don't want to do that to anybody. And let me be very clear when I say that. It doesn't affect the money that I make. It doesn't affect the money that they will make. But it does affect the money that the people around me will make when they witness my beacon. And I want to keep an area as green as I can. So I don't want to necessarily do that, but again, beggars can't be choosers. And it also seems like docile goldenrod toad may not be there for that long. So I'm not going to worry about him at this point. What I am going to take a look at is location in terms of topography, in terms of what's around me. And the first is to look at elevation. And if you look at where these hotspots are, this is actually like on a highest point. Look around. Everything else is a little bit lower elevation, lower and lower. You can't tell it at this point here, but when I look at it at this point, like you can see. In fact, it's way better elevation than 107th here, by probably 10 feet. So, that also makes this a very positive location. I like that. Now, that being said, if I look at my 107th place here, whereas the one on Grove, sorry, just bringing. Wait, did I lose him? Oh, my bad. If I look at the one on Grove here, it's probably going to be able to get a decent signal in every direction. I don't know how much this elevation difference is going to affect 107th place. My guess is it's probably going to direct most of its witnessing and up here towards Broomfield and North Glen. It's not going to hit to the east or to the west, south. I mean, it'll hit to the east or to the west, but to the north. It's not the most horrible thing in the world, but that's good information to have. Now, that being said, we can look at it here in the explorer.helium.com and do a little bit comparison. So just like we just looked at Golden Toad a second ago, you can see Golden Toad amazingly is hitting some points here, which makes me wonder if those people are scamming. But the majority of it is hitting, like I said, straight north. And I don't have any examples in the other hex where the other hotspot is going to be, because there's nothing there. But I can do a comparison with the hotspots around it. So generally, I like to look at the hotspots that are doing the best and doing a comparison about where they're witnessing and what antenna they're using. So we'll start at this point and just see what's around. Okay, 0.66. We got a 4 over here. We got a 6 over here. Ooh, we got a 25. Let's look at the 25. 25 HNT a day from this guy who is, okay, mainly northwest, but still getting a little bit south. That's good. And I do love seeing that they're doing 25.86. Now, they obviously haven't updated their antenna information, but, my guess is it's an 8 dBi antenna outdoors. But who knows? Who really knows until they actually update their information? Let's take a look at the other one there, Tangy Chrome Ostrich. And, again, hasn't updated information, but getting 16. That's nice. And, again, we are looking at mainly west and northwest. So I'm feeling very positive if I optimize my setup that I can get some good numbers here. Let's just take a look. Wait, there's a 20. Let's go back to that 20. Oh, Dizzy Cornflower Beetle. Who is that? Oh, wait. That's me. Sorry, have to laugh about these things when I can. Yeah, as you can see, because of where I am in the topography, I can't hit west over here. I can only hit north. So that's why, again, topography is so important to me. Knowing that I could only hit northeast, I was looking for houses that might hit to the west. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy to see what I'm seeing so far, and I am feeling like these are good options. Let's just see Hazelnut Wasp. What's Hazelnut Wasp hitting? Okay, again, northwest, 15 meters up, they say, with a 2.3 dBi antenna. I wonder if they just didn't update their antenna. Interesting information. But point being is, looking at these comparisons, I really think this is a good location. Going back down into that, seeing where stuff gets blocked. Yeah, I think this will be good. So again, we're looking at here on 107th place, and I think there's nothing that's going to block it anywhere north to the east or the west. It should hit everything that's north. And then again, the other house on, if I choose to add it here, is on North Grove Loop. And yeah, that's totally open. I think I will be able to hit totally north. I'm trying to follow this line here of height. But even then it drops, as you can see, this way. This whole section here is one level below where the house is. So I think I can hit all directions with North Grove Loop. So that makes it very, very interesting to me. But now we got to look at the house. And again, these are the houses. So this is on 107th. And this one down here is North Grove Loop. Let's take a look at North Grove Loop first. So, by the way, if you're going to zoom in and look at it, don't look at it in straight from above. Look at it in 3D mode here. Makes it nicer to see. So I'm not really sure which one of these units it is. If I had to guess, my hope would be this one right here. But it could be this one over here. And I'm just going to kind of rotate around this house and see what I got. So I got windows out the back and I got windows out the front. But in all hope, I would put it in the attic up here. Now, I've just recently had the experience of an attic where I realized that attics don't always have power, so I'm a little disappointed. I'm looking into options about how I can go about adding power if I need to. So that's my second research project right now. But, I mean, even if I put it in the front window right there, that might be a good location and see how well it does. I'm not going to put it out the back because it's just too low and other houses are directly in the way. And these are townhouses, obviously. So, and you can already see that nobody has a dish on their roof. So that's not going to be an option. But I really like this location, and if I can just get it in the window right there or over here, I think I'll be happy. Yeah, I mean it's close enough to their roof that there isn't as much blocking their signal. That being the case, though, indoors, trying to have a larger angle to get out of the roof, I might do a 5.8 dBi antenna instead of an 8 dBi antenna. If I can get in the roof, I do an 8 dBi antenna. On their windowsill, maybe a 5.8. Fits nicely in a window. Can probably just leave it out of the way if they let me do that. That's the way I might want to try. I'm going to first see if I can get in their attic. But this is my backup plan. Got to have two plans because at the end of the day, probably don't want you in their house too often. So that's always an issue. All right, let's jump back over and look at the one on 107th here. Okay, now this is interesting. See, now they don't have anything behind their house to block the signal. As we just talked about, we're probably not going to get anything, any signal heading south. So, yeah, putting it in their window, in their back window here might actually be a really good plan. If I can get it in one of these windows, 5.8 dBi antenna, or even the 8 dBi antenna. I mean, again, attic would be great if I could do it, but I don't know. So, yeah, I think that's going to be my plan. But having all this space back here instead of having to worry about being blocked by neighbors' houses, that's great. Yeah, no, I'm really liking this location. So with that, I still think I can get definitely over 20 on either house. The Grove house, probably more than 107th, but we'll see. Yeah. Okay. Those are what I'm thinking about right now. I want to thank you guys for watching my video. Let me know what you think I should be doing in the comments. Definitely like and subscribe, and yeah, happy mining.